I used to waste at least 10 hours a week using Gemini the wrong way, and I had no idea. There are settings buried inside Gemini 3.0 that are turned off by default, and because of that, you're getting worse answers, having to do way more back and forth, and you generally need to type a lot more. That's why I spent the last week digging through every corner of Gemini's interface, and I found 6 settings that most people will never discover because Google barely talks about them. I'll break down why you should turn them on, where to find each one, and how they completely change the way you use Gemini. Let's get into it. If you want to follow along, Gemini is completely free, but some settings are paid, and I'll let you know which ones. So the first thing you need to do is switch from the default fast mode to thinking mode. That fast setting works for simple questions, but it fails when you need it to actually use logic. Thinking mode forces the AI to pause and plan its answer before it speaks. At the top of the interface, click the model dropdown and select thinking. Now let me show you a real-life example where this saves the day. I'm going to give it a scheduling problem. I have a chaotic Saturday. I need to drop my daughter at soccer 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m., buy groceries which takes 45 minutes, pick up a package at the post office, open 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., and be home for a Zoom call at 12 p.m. sharp. The soccer field is 20 minutes from the store, but the store is right next to the post office. Create the most efficient schedule so I'm not rushing. Look at what it does. The standard mode might just list the tasks in order and say good luck, but thinking mode actually looks for the gaps. It's not just generating text, it's solving a logic puzzle. Use this for scheduling, budgeting, or anytime you need a strategy rather than just a Google search. Thinking mode is only available on the paid plan, but if you're making decisions that involve your time or money, it's worth every penny. Now that the thinking feature becomes 10 times more powerful when it's actually personalized to you, which is exactly what instructions for Gemini does. This is where you teach Gemini exactly who you are and how you want it to respond. Skip this, and every conversation starts from zero. Gemini has no idea what you do, what you care about, or how you like information presented. That's a huge waste of time. Go to the settings menu in the bottom left corner and click on instructions for Gemini. You'll have to activate it and then press add. And then you'll see a text box where you can describe yourself, your role, and your preferences. This is where you tell Gemini everything it needs to know about you. Here's a simple template you can use. My role is a freelance graphic designer. My main goal right now is to build a stronger portfolio and attract higher paying clients. I prefer answers that are short and actionable with clear next steps. I don't like overly technical jargon or formal corporate language. Just fill in your own details where it makes sense, save it, and Gemini remembers it across every conversation. Now, every time you ask a question, the response is tailored specifically to you. You're not getting generic advice anymore. You're getting answers that match your goals, your style, and your current projects. You can also add specific details like I'm a student studying computer science, or I run a small online business, or I'm learning video editing. The more context you give, the better the responses get. And you only have to set this up once. After that, it's active in every chat without you having to repeat yourself. This setting is available on both the free and paid plans, so go turn it on right now. But here's where it gets really interesting. Once Gemini knows who you are, you can actually let it access your files. That's what Workspace Extensions does, and it's absolutely critical because it lets Gemini break out of the chat box and pull information from your actual work. Without this enabled, Gemini can only work with what you paste into the conversation. But with Workspace Extensions turned on, it can search your Gmail, scan your Google Drive, and pull information from your Google Calendar. Go to the bottom left corner of the Gemini interface and click on Settings and Help. From the menu that appears, select Connected Apps. You'll see a list of Google services. Make sure the toggle for Google Workspace is turned on. Once that's active, you can start using it immediately. Let me show you what this actually does. Start a fresh chat and type at Workspace to activate the extension. Then ask something like, search my drive for all marketing reports from last quarter and summarize the key performance metrics. Gemini isn't just scanning file names, it's actually opening the documents, reading through the content, and pulling out the specific data points you asked for. It finds the reports, grabs the metrics, and gives you a clean summary table with everything you need. This is massive because it turns your entire Google Drive into a searchable database that you can talk to. You can also use this with Gmail. Ask Gemini to find all emails mentioning a specific project, group them by sender, and tell you what needs your response today. It scans your inbox, organizes everything, and even drafts quick replies if you want. If you bill by the hour, this feature alone will pay for itself by saving you 20 minutes every single morning. This works on the free plan, so there's no reason not to turn it on right now. Now, once you've got Gemini connected to your files and personalized to your workflow, you can take it one step further and make it work for you even when you're not there. That's what scheduled tasks do. This lets you set up Gemini to run specific actions automatically at times you choose, without you having to be there. Think of it like setting up a personal assistant that works while you sleep. You can do this entirely through prompting. Just tell Gemini exactly what you want and when you want it to happen. For example, You could say, send me a daily summary at 9 a.m. every morning with the top 3 trending tech stories from the last 24 hours. Or you could ask it to pull weekly analytics from your Google Drive and email you a formatted report every Monday. The way this works is simple. You describe the task, set the frequency, and Gemini handles the rest. It'll run the search, compile the information, and deliver it exactly when you need it. This is incredibly useful for routine tasks that eat up your time. Instead of manually checking news sites every morning or digging through spreadsheets every week, Gemini does it automatically. You can schedule research reports, email summaries, data pulls from your drive, basically anything that follows a pattern. And once you set it up, it just runs in the background. You're not wasting mental energy remembering to do these tasks because Gemini is handling them for you. This feature is available on the paid plan, and if you have recurring tasks that take up even 10 minutes a day, it pays for itself immediately. But what about when you need Gemini to go beyond your files and actually research something brand new? That's where deep research comes in, and it's the feature that separates Gemini from every other AI tool out there. Most AI models just pull from their training data and give you an answer based on what they already know. But deep research is different. It's an autonomous research agent that goes out, browses the web, reads dozens of sources, and writes you a full multi-page report with citations. Open Gemini and click on the Tools button at the bottom of the chat interface. From the menu, select Deep Research. You'll notice the interface changes slightly. You'll see new buttons for files and sources. Now, instead of asking a simple question, you give it a research task. For example, you might type, research the 5 most discussed AI breakthroughs from the last 90 days. Focus on practical applications for marketers. Include source links. Hit enter, and here's what happens. Gemini doesn't just spit out a quick answer. It maps out a research strategy first. It shows you the plan, and you can either edit it or approve it. Once you approve, it starts actively working. This takes about 2 to 3 minutes because it's scanning the web, reading articles, and cross-referencing information in real time. When it's done, you get a structured report. It found the breakthroughs, explained each one in detail, broke down the practical applications, and included source links so you can verify everything. If you tried to do this research manually, you'd spend 3 to 4 hours searching Google, opening articles, taking notes, and organizing everything. Deep Research just automated that entire process in 3 minutes. Now you might be wondering how this is different from thinking mode since both take extra time to process. Think of it this way. Thinking mode is like locking yourself in a room with a whiteboard to solve a problem. You're using pure logic and reasoning to work through something complex like fixing broken code or making a strategic business decision. It's all internal processing. Deep Research, on the other hand, is like sending someone out into the world to gather information. It's actively browsing the web, reading multiple sources, comparing data, and bringing everything back to you in one organized report. Use thinking mode when you need intelligence and logic. Use Deep Research when you need facts and information from the outside world. On the free plan, you get 5 deep research reports per month. On the paid plan, it's unlimited. If you're a student, a researcher, or anyone who needs to gather information fast, this feature alone makes the subscription worth it. Now there's one more setting you need to know about, especially if you're dealing with sensitive information. By default, Gemini saves your conversation history so it can learn from your interactions and give you better responses over time. But sometimes you're working with private data, medical questions, financial details, or anything you don't want stored. That's where temporary chats come in. When you enable this, Gemini won't save the conversation. It won't use it for training, and it won't store it in your history. Once you close the chat, it's gone completely. To turn this on, look at the top of your chat interface. You'll see a toggle or option that says temporary chat or activity controls. Click on that and enable it before you start typing anything sensitive. Now you can ask questions about confidential projects, personal health issues, or financial planning without worrying about that data being stored anywhere. This is especially important if you're using Gemini for work and dealing with client information or proprietary data. You get all the power of Gemini's reasoning and research capabilities, but none of your conversation gets saved. Once you're done, just close the chat, and it's like the conversation never happened. This feature is available on both free and paid plans, and it's something you should turn on anytime you're handling information that needs to stay private. So now you've seen all 6 settings. Deep Research automated 3 hours of work into 3 minutes. That's one feature in isolation, but the real power comes when you chain all of those settings together on an actual project. Watch this video next, where I do exactly that and become dangerously good at Gemini 3.0.